to face off against the Hicks, and just could not climb out of an early hole, man. Usually, you get into a game of runs and try to climb out of it. Knicks just could not get timely stops, man, and it was Miles Turner who started it, and basically Miles Turner who ended it. Knicks fall in Indiana, 111-98. This is Knicks Postgame Live, presented by Manscaped, CP the Franchise, Ashley Moss, JD Sports Talk, CK2K in the building. Tough one, man. Knicks fall to 5-3 on the season, but still early to make adjustments. I hated this one, man. Hate losing to the Pacers, no matter who they have on the team, really. But man, we just defense is leaving a lot to be desired right now, man. CK, I'll start with you.
That's an understatement, man. That was probably the biggest question mark in the entire game was that defense. We saw, like you mentioned, Miles Turner just, he was not having a great start to this year shooting that ball from the 3-point line. And we heard Clyde and Mike Breen talk about it for a good 5 minutes, and then they stopped saying anything about it because he was on fire against us, and we didn't have any solution for it at all. Defense was probably the biggest thing I looked at in this game. We have another game, back-to-back games, where our starters in the negatives, like terribly, 4 of the 5 in double-digit negatives. It's just a overall rough game. We made some runs, but I can't look past the defense. We had some good offensive runs as the game was going on. RJ Barrett gave us a tremendous third quarter, tried a little bit there in the fourth quarter for us, but defensively they would just, they would put our run out with a run of their own and do what they did the entire night. Everybody had numbers over on that damn Pacers team. I almost said the Pelicans. Yeah, Turner with 25 plus 14. Karis LeVert felt like he was making everything in the mid-range, 21 points, plus 18. Nice to see him healthy, but not against us. You know what it is. Once again, TJ McCollum, I know he only had 5 points, but anytime he scores against us, always timely, man. But yeah, it's just a rough one. 5-3 for the Knicks, 3-1 away. Shake it off, move on to the next one.
Simple and play, man. JD, how you feeling, bro?
Well, the Knicks better start getting some wins because these burgers are about to expire, man. I've been eating out for a few days, man. I'm trying to eat at home now, man.
Burgers getting stale over there, man.
Yeah, they get a little stale, but we still got faith, man. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Tough loss. I thought, my takeaways for the game is, if when the Knicks play at the center position, we have 2 rim protectors and guys that are not comfortable going out and contesting, the perimeter. So when you have 2 centers, Miles Turner is going to be the story of the game with 7 threes, but their backup center hit 2 threes as well. He's also a 3-point shooter. So to me, that was part of the start. That was the difference in the game. And the Knicks, I was disappointed they didn't make any adjustment at all. And I understand that you have Mitch Robinson's not comfortable, but there was no adjustment made. And I think it was a difficult decision because if you do, attack Turner, now you're leaving the paint open for anyone, and our perimeter is already a little weak. So that is a weakness there to attack the Knicks. And the 3-point difference. We only shot 24 threes, and I thought that was part of the Pacers' game plan, knowing that they have Miles Turner at the rim. They were running off the 3-point line, and they made us try to play the mid-range game or to play the rim game, and understand that they have Turner there. And I didn't think we went to RJ enough early, and I didn't think we went to him. I just didn't think we utilized him to the best of how he should have been used going into the game. When he did, you saw him building confidence. He ended well in the third. I did not like the decision when he picked up his 4th foul, to bench him, because actually Thibodeau made the decision to keep him in the game when he picked up his 4th. At that moment, he left him in the game for an additional 2 minutes, and you saw the confidence that he had. He made a tough drive against Torrey Craig, who is a very good defender. And you saw the emotion, as I've been saying, with RJ going into a timeout. And off the timeout, you bench him. And Tip Tony tonight is Tip Cooler because he cooled off RJ. And after that moment, from that moment, RJ finished the game 0-4. He sat him for about 6-7 minutes.
He was cold.
And it was too late. It was too late by the time you brought him back.
Yeah.
Again, this is a young player. This is not a veteran. It's a young player. So I keep saying, let's feed off the wave and continue to utilize him. And yeah, that's pretty much my 3 takeaways of the game. Tough game. And, you know, we got to move on to Friday now.
Ash, how about you?
Listen, I share all of JD's sentiments. I mean, look, they were definitely forcing us off that 3-point line. They were forcing us to drive it in the paint. And, you know, the Indiana Pacers have a team that's just as deep, if not deeper than ours. You know, everything that we can do, they can do. So it's like, you know, going toe to toe with a team that mirrors you, but is also better than you in certain aspects, right? So they're deep in multiple positions. And then on top of that, our defense was extremely porous. Anytime you give up 111 points, over 100 points to a team that is deep, you're in trouble. Playing from the deficit, playing from behind is always debilitating, especially, you know, when you're struggling to shoot, when you're struggling long range. You know, when RJ Barrett is the sole high scorer of the game, that's a problem. Julius Randle was living on the boards, 14 rebounds for him, quiet from a scoring standpoint. You know, they were locking him down. And it's interesting because you look at RJ Barrett and you look at the games that he's been, you know, he's averaging, I think, around 27 points per game in these last 3 games before tonight's game. And it seems that as RJ's production rises, Julius is lower. So it's a very odd relationship that we're seeing. It's a very odd pattern that we are seeing from the two of them. I don't know what's really going on with Julius. He seems a lot of times his body language looks a little off. I do feel like this was a much better game for him in terms of aggression than we saw last game. I will give him that. I think he played hard. But I think the thing with Julius is that when he gets locked down, sometimes I feel like he freezes up and he doesn't have, you know, a bag to tap into outside of the immediate game plan. I'm going to put some blame on Tibbs too. You know, we need a secondary offense. You know, when that first offensive unit is not clicking, we need a secondary offense that we can depend on. And I feel like a lot of the times, you know, Tibbs, we talk about this over and over again. The rotations are just not clicking. The rotations are just not working. I'm not quite sure what Tibbs is seeing on the court. I'm not quite sure, you know, what kind of game and how the game unfolds for him, but it's a lot different than I feel like a lot of us are of the game that we are looking at. And I think that's something that we really have to go ahead and narrow in on and figure out before we get too deep into the season. We need rotations that work. You know, our defense has already suffered because our offense has gotten better, right? So you have to figure out how to combat those issues with your rotations. And it's gonna be difficult. You know, this is now 2 games in a row where it's a lot of similarities, and you know the season only gets harder. You know, and it doesn't get easier. So it's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, still early. You know, still early. 5-3 in the campaign.
Sure.
You know, so we definitely have time to make adjustments, but still a frustrating loss. I mean, 11-0 run. They start out the game. You know, you start off the game in the hole, and yes, basketball is a game of runs, but you don't want to start off the game like that because now you got to try extra hard just to even, you know, cut the lead down, tie it, and then take the lead and maintain it. So that was tough to see. JD, I agree with you 100%. You know, Turner killed us in the beginning and killed us in 7-10 from downtown. Turner, the backup center, dropped in another 2 3-point shots. And again, there's not too many teams that can really space you out that way with 5 guys. You know, Pacers may be one of the few that can do that with their primary and backup big. So it's not a natural defensive stance for either Mitch or Noel. It's not natural for them to do that. And on top of that, coming into this game, Turner was shooting abysmally from beyond the arc, save for the first game of the season or the first or second game of the season when he dropped like 40. So it wasn't necessarily a bad game plan to leave him like that. It's just tough to see that he was draining it all night. And so, yeah, you want to argue to go small, but then on the flip side, our perimeter defense is so porous that these guys are getting into the lane at will. So you need the rim protection to try to even get a stop because, not gonna you know, kill him, but Kemba was getting flamed out there. You had Brogdon, you had LeVert. getting into the paint at will. Our perimeter defense is getting cooked. So that's putting a lot of strain on our overall team defense. So you have that a problem. The transition defense is a problem, whether it's off of a turnover, off of a block or steal, or off of a long mid-range or a three-point shot. We're not getting back on D. Knicks came into this game 25th in opponents' fast break points per game. That's been a big problem for us. We cannot overcome that. And so that has to be an area of adjustment for us. On the flip side, I mentioned Brogdon and LeVert being able to get into the lane. I thought LeVert had a big second half for the Pacers as well, especially when he went up against our second unit. He was pretty big for them. But I feel like offensively, we weren't able to get into much of a flow because our guards weren't really able to create off of their drives. Julius wasn't really able to create off of his drives. That's where our offense gets potent. And, it was a physical game. Give credit to the Pacers. They played us hard. They played tough. But, we weren't even really able to get into that flow offensively either. So, all in all, it was a tough night. Definitely a tough night.
I think one of the things that also is concerning is, we talk about, I say this a lot, is, playing from behind is debilitating. It's hard, especially when you're playing a good team. And I think that the Pacers are a good basketball team. I know they may not play in the sexiest market and they may not get all the attention that some other teams do, but that's a good basketball team. And if you look, there were 0 lead changes in this entire game.
Yeah.
0.
Wire win.
Not a single one. That's concerning. That means that you aren't going on runs conducive for changing the outcome of a game. And it just looks from these past few games, these past few situations that we've been in, and this is even including the games that we've won, is we're looking very one-dimensional. And in basketball, that's the worst thing that you can do. In sports, that's the worst thing you can do, because when you're one-dimensional, you're very easily predictable. And when you're easily predictable, you're easily guarded and you're easily figured out. And the Knicks have to figure out how to make themselves three-dimensional, because like we said, the games are only going to get harder. This is a long season, and teams get better and start to gel more as the season progresses. And if you are one-dimensional, you are going to be exposed very quickly, and you will not last an entire season. That's just facts.
Right. And to your point, CP, about the game plan, because I know that may be a topic of discussion in terms of the lack of adjustment in potentially going small ball. I do agree. I agreed with the game plan in terms of remaining with your big man. The only iffy thing is I would have liked to, at least in different possessions, just giving Turner different looks. I would have liked a possession where you play ball denial or you press him, and then another possession where you fall back, kind of just to mix it up. They didn't do either. And as you mentioned, the problem with, switching up the game plan, going small ball, is then we are susceptible to easy plays, and then everything opens up. You're talking about the 3-point opens up, the paint opens up, the foul line. So it's one of those things where you're consistent with the game plan and you just hope it works. And Miles Turner, you had mentioned before, his last 6 games, he made only 5 threes, 5 of 22, shooting 22%. Yeah. And then he goes tonight and, he makes 7 threes. He made 3 threes in the first half. And I know it's kind of like, a football team, you remain with a game plan, and at the second half, you see that the game plan works defensively, and it didn't happen because he made 4 threes in the second half. So I understood where the Knicks were going. You're playing the percentages. You're hoping that Miles Turner reverts back and doesn't, hit those threes. But sometimes this happens in the NBA. You're going to go into a Terrence Ross first quarter. You're going to go into a Miles Turner 7-3 game. Like, this happens every now and then, where you're going to see, I don't want to say fluky performances, but you're going to see somebody just get red hot. The way to counter that is you got to make some of your 3-pointers. And the Knicks went 5 of 24. You didn't make threes to counter that attack. Only 5 of 24 altogether, and their starters only went 3 of 18 from 3. So, when you're giving something up and you're not attacking on the other end, and it's going to be tough.
And CK, despite all that, we still in the game. We still in the game, bro. We cut it to 5. They went on a run. We cut it to 4. They go on a run. We cut it to 3. They go on a run. We cut it to 2. They go on a run. Every time we're within striking distance, the Pacers would rip off 6, 7, and go back up. Like, we just could not get it there. You know, the second unit, I thought the rotations were fine. The second unit with Rose, with IQ, with Burks, my guy Burks, with Obi, they were able to cut it to 2. And then boom, right back at it. Turner rips off another 5 points on his own. You know, they had one, like a chaotic play. I think it was McConnell missed it. Then Sabonis tips it to Turner. Turner gets a slam. And then on the next possession, Turner gets a 3-point shot. We were just very unlucky, man. Just very unlucky. But, you know, that's what happens when you're trying to claw from behind all game.
Yeah, say what you will, chat. But nights like tonight, you see why when you miss Taj Gibson. You know what I mean? Tonight, it was definitely one of those nights where you feel like could have had a little bit of extra help from Taj Gibson, especially with the stretch play that we were getting from Miles Turner, because then, you know, that puts a little less stress on Julius Randle, who you feel like was trying to toe the line, staying inside with Sabonis, but then also wanting to help with Miles Turner. Taj Gibson has been really solid with marking the stretch guys, because he's still really mobile with that. So I feel like that nights like tonight, you see the impact that Taj Gibson brings us, even though sometimes the stats may not be right there in your face. It's the little things, and I think something a night like tonight, Taj Gibson would have been, and Miles Turner's really could have helped us out. But you know, we gotta do what we gotta do it. And you know, it was Noel's first game back. I was expecting it to be rushed, because it really felt like he was rushed into the lineup, because we've been talking about it all week. How we haven't heard no updates, haven't heard about him practicing, nothing like that. And all of a sudden, he was questionable, then he was probable, and then he was playing. You know what I mean? It's just one of the things. Like, it just felt like he was gonna be a little sluggish tonight. And I feel like he gave us some good minutes, but other times it felt like he was just out there going back and forth. But yeah, man, like you mentioned, I was saying at the top, every time it felt like we were inching closer, they had a response. And in that one play you mentioned, that happened several times, where it was a fluky fadeaway or something small that gave them the momentum. And being in Indiana, like they took advantage of it, and we had no answer for it. So it was just a very, very unfortunate series of events that happened for us tonight.
You talk about, you know, not every time we went on a run, they had an answer. And I mean, I'm looking at the numbers here. One of them that stands out to me is second chance points. Indiana with 12, us with 19. 19. So I'm looking at it like, you know, you're getting those offensive rebounds. You're getting second chance opportunities, but a lot of the times, you know, stats can lie. You know, I think that a lot of the times you look at these and you would think that the Knicks should have won this game, but it's also about, you know, the points that you do get in the second chance opportunities, but also the points that you miss. And when you're going ahead and you're getting those second chance opportunities, the Knicks have a bad habit of not, you know, reformulating the offense to go ahead and make smarter shots. It's almost like rush shots. It's almost like, you know, we got to get this point up. We got to go ahead and bridge this gap quickly. And when you get those second chance opportunities, they're so valuable, especially when you're playing from the deficit, and you want to go ahead and use those opportunities to reset the offense and take a smarter shot. And I think a lot of the times what we're seeing from the Knicks is they're taking shots, but they're not smart shots. They're rush shots. They're shots made out of panic and made out of wanting to bridge the gap in quickly, but they're not shots that are conducive for actually falling in and making an impact. And I think that's what we also have to work on, and that's what Tim needs to preach. Is that it's not always about making the quick shot. It's about making the smart shot. You got to work smarter, not harder when it comes to basketball.
And I'm with you, JD, man. Should have went to RJ earlier, man. And shout out to our prize picks, RJ. I took the over on RJ tonight. We'll get to our prize picks in a minute, but definitely hit on that. My man was cooking in the second half. You wanted to see him go to it early. Fournier was playing like he just played a little bit too skittish for me tonight. Just wasn't confident in anything that he was doing, because just kind of overthinking it out there. Broadway was ready to go. Definitely ready to go, man. And I thought RJ was, once again, he was solid, just not enough. You know, just not enough RJ tonight. But in his minutes, he was great.
Yeah, and like that's why, and I'm not calling for RJ to be the first option, right? Because he's young. But I am calling for him to be legitimate second option. I am calling for a package of plays to be called to him early. You know why? Because even when he's not scoring, you saw tonight, he still created positive plays. Even when plays that didn't go his way. There was a drive where he went to the basket and he tried to pass it to Mitch, and it didn't do anything. But he broke down the defense. He had Miles Turner guessing. And that was our RJ was our only answer to Miles Turner in the paint. Anybody else,
Okay.
Miles Turner protected.
He wasn't afraid, man. He went right at him.
Yep.
Right.
Went right at him.
And RJ was the only guy that was consistently getting to the basket at will, which was creating a little bit of chaos. He found Fournier for a nice, teardrop in the floater in the first half. So the difference that I'm finding between him and Randall is when things don't go well, RJ can, when he's put in a position to play make, he's either going to score or he's either going to, create a hockey assist or draw the foul. And he's starting to even gain more confidence in attacking the rim. I mean, tonight he went against Torrey Craig, who's a good defender, and LeVert, who's pretty quick. LeVert's not a great defender, but he's quick. The criticism of RJ, or the area of improvement, has been the acceleration to the basket, the agility, the explosiveness. He's finding, better coordination and better ways to get to the rim. That's a positive. I'm hoping the Knicks see that. And, a positive for the Knicks was, you mentioned the Knicks bench. The Knicks bench scored as many points as Indiana Pacers did in the first quarter. 36 points, only 6 3-point attempts. But the bench gave you points. I just think the starters didn't come through. Burks had a couple of big threes. His defense wasn't great. Carlisle did a magnificent job against the Knicks. I think they caught the Knicks a little bit surprised, starting Duarte defensively on Kemba. I think Kemba was expecting Brogdon, the bigger body, a little bit slower than Duarte. I think that affected Kemba a little bit. Kemba was 0 of 5, and so
he didn't have it. He definitely didn't have
the Indiana coach as well.
I think everyone's hitting it on the head. I think RJ is going to be the key to making this offense less predictable and making it multidimensional. I kind of compare it to, like the rookie quarterback on a football team, right? You're always looking at it like, start the rookie. Like, I think of like Justin Fields, and it's like, start the rookie. And the coach wants to go ahead and what's been proven and what has the experience. But sometimes to completely ignite an offense, you got to go ahead and not only give the defense something they've never seen before, you got to get the offense something to be excited about, to get them in an environment that they've also never really played in before. And I think sometimes that taps into untapped potential of the players on the court and the team as a whole. And you got to give RJ the keys in order to do that. And that's no different than when you give a rookie quarterback his first start. You see them ball out. There's a reason for that, and I think, that's the key. And Tibbs really has to have the faith in RJ to go ahead and do that, because I think that's the answer. I think it's one of the answers, at least.
Let me get to the super chats, and then we're going to take some calls. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you, squad. Knicks post-game live presented by Manscaped, CP Ashley Moore, Shady Sports Talk, CK2K in the building. I'm going to shout out Jimmy Faustin, sent a super chat. Says, I'm not blaming it at all on Tibbs, but you can't sub RJ out with 2:45 left in the third. He made the last 5 points and leave Randall in. Leave the hot hand in the game. Hopefully, lesson learned. I hear that, but look, the second unit still cut it to 2. They still cut it to 2 with RJ on the bench. I mean, I get it. He came back in. He was cold. But you got to get some stops, man. The whole theme of the night was they were within reach, and they just could not get the proper stops to put this thing away. But I get it. I questioned it, too, when he caught the 4 fouls, why sub him out. But I still thought they had their chances, and they just couldn't close it out. Haitian Ferg sent a super chat. He says, at what point does Tibbs look into Grimes or McBride? Our perimeter defense is our Achilles heel. We're compromised defensively. I think it's too early. It's only the 8th game. I don't see Tibbs making those type of adjustments so early in the season. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't see it. I just don't see it.
No. And that would be a detriment.
I don't see it. I don't see him making that type of decision this early. Even quick. IQ was out there pounding the air at the ball, man. I'm like, yo, you gotta pass that rock, man. He's struggling.
Just last game, we were fans were questioning why you left quickly out there so long. So I don't think he's gonna go from that to immediately making a rotation.
I don't think so.
And also just the record, you're still 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
You're 5-3. So, I don't even think he's maybe what we're thinking could be different, but I think from the coach's standpoint, Tom Thibodeau, I don't think he's going to even begin to think that unless this team starts, going multiple games under 500.
But I hate that ideology and I hate that philosophy. I hate the idea that familiarity breeds content. Like, why are you content with what you see is not working? You see it visually not working.
Yeah, but
why does it have to take you 10 games to figure that out? Why does it have to take you 20 games to figure that out?
Coaches ain't gonna do that fast, Ash. They're not gonna do that quickly in the NBA.
I don't know.
You want to see some chemistry with what you have.
I have a different philosophy when it comes to that. I say that if something isn't going to work 2, 3, 4 times, you don't need to see it not working 15 times where you've already dug yourself into a hole and now you're digging yourself out of it. It's twice the amount of work. You see it's not working, adjust it while it's still early enough to where it's not going to drastically affect your season. It's a long season. You got a full one this year. That's a blessing. That's also a curse because, like I said, people think they have a lot of time to correct mistakes, and then you blink and it's after the All-Star break and you're like, okay, now we're in trouble. Why are you doing it like that? You see it's not working. Fix it while it's still early enough in the season to formulate good habits. Basketball is a lot of talent. It's runs. It's all of that stuff. Yes, but it's also a business it's a game of habits. And the earlier you formulate good habits, the better off that you will be in the long run. You look at championship teams, you look at playoff teams. They have good habits. Good habits are started in the off season and they are executed throughout the regular season. You can't switch it on and off. That's not how the game works.
Ash with the passion. Go ahead, Ash. Talk your.
Look,
it's not.
I hear you, but like you can't expect
and we're gonna switch it on and we're gonna switch it off. It doesn't.
But that's what the fans are looking for. They're looking for Grimes, McBride, put him in, take him out. The coach is going for consistency, man. He's going for chemistry. He's going for that. Even when they struggle, you're still gonna rock with your guys, man, and let them fight through it. You're not just gonna yank IQ out, throw in Grimes full time. Grimes don't got it. He's a rookie. Put back in IQ. That you don't stabilize your team like that. They gotta go through their lumps. They gotta take their lumps. It's the 8th game.
Yes, but this is also, you're early enough in the season when you still have the opportunity to kind of experiment. This is your experimental phase, right? This is early enough in the season. You're at the beginning of November that any experiments you do are really not going to make or break your season. This is the time. This is not the time to stick with what you think is going to work in the long run. You did that last year. It took Tibbs 2 games in the playoff series against Atlanta to make any types of changes. You can't maneuver like that in the NBA. That's not how it works. It's quick moving. And this is the time that you start manipulating and seeing what works and what doesn't. I hate that philosophy of the light switch. Like, 6 months into the season, we're going to switch it on and we're going to be a completely different team. No, that's not how it works. It just doesn't work like that.
So Ash, so what are you doing next game? Or what you would have done differently this game then?
I wouldn't have taken the ball out of RJ's hand. That's first and foremost. Like,
right.
What do we?
Well, yeah,
and it takes so long to put him back in the game.
From a rotational standpoint, you're putting Grimes in.
I think. Listen, I'm just gonna say this. I think that I'm not gonna say what rotation should happen, what rotation shouldn't, but I'm gonna say this. This is the time that you experiment, and this is the time you figure out what works and what doesn't. And I think that anybody who has an issue with that, why not put Grimes in? Let's see what that looks like. What's the worst that can happen? You lose, you're already losing. You're still early enough in the season where that's not going to make or break you. And I don't understand why it's this commitment to things that don't work. I don't understand it. That's just not how I would do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off that. And there's already the meme already on Twitter with me on it. I'll say it. Yes, I would do it because look, in the situation with Emmanuel Quickley, and I'm not trying to say that Emmanuel Quickley needs to get yanked out of the rotation or Burks or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think that it's time that to Ash's point, we get aggressive, right? Especially when you see nights like this where you're seeing Chris Duarte in a starting lineup doing things that, in my opinion, I feel like we could see Grimes doing very similarly to maybe a smaller scale, but I still feel like he can be out there producing as quickly as we were seeing with Duarte. Yeah, I could be wrong with that. That's fine, but I really feel like we could see that. And with Emmanuel Quickley, we have to remember too, we don't know where Quickley would have been last year if he didn't get that opportunity because of injury last year. Quickley came in there and got that opportunity because of an injury and then forced Tibbs' hand, and it ended up being the right way. I don't want to have to wait for that again, to wait for a Burks injury, to wait for Derrick Rose injury,
my man
to
Burks
then
first,
Grimes
man.
for Grimes to then get checked in, and then he has these string of games like, damn, all of a sudden our perimeter defense.
We don't want another Alfred Payton situation.
Right.
Let me get to the phones. Let me get to the phones.
The Alfred
So
thing was not going to work.
All
right, let's table. Let's get to the phones, man. Daniel from Jersey, what's going on? Daniel, how you feeling?
How y'all doing?
Yo, what's good, bro? How you feeling?
Bro, those RJ performances make losing feel a lot better. Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah. Yo, Daniel, where you at, bro? You got like the TV on in the background. There's a lot of static in the background, bro. What are you doing right now, man?
Bro, I go to Rutgers. I'm on the bus right now.
All right. You try it, man. Go ahead.
Listen, man. Let me tell y'all something. I'm watching this game, man. I don't know. I know we did a bunch of stuff wrong. Like, I know Mitch probably didn't do as good a job covering Miles Turner on those threes as he could have, especially in the beginning and towards the game. I know that our defense overall has been lackluster, and that has to do with Kemba Walker's inability to do anything on defense other than draw an offensive foul and get a rebound every now and then. But I don't know, man. I really think it's all starting with Julius' attitude out there on the court, man. I don't know, like, I love Julius. I'm not a Julius Randle hater at all. I've openly, like, advocated for him, especially since last season, but he's just not looking like the same guy right now. Yes, he's passing the ball to people, but he's not necessarily looking for them. Yes, he's taking shots that he can make, but he's not necessarily, like, benefiting us with his offense. Like, and we're just seeing RJ become more and more consistent and Julius become less and less consistent. I really think they're at odds with each other. At least Julius is at odds with RJ sudden blossoming. And I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think like this like lack of effort on defense and like offensive low has something to do with how, you know, I'm seeing Julius walking on the court, doing all that stuff. Like, man, this is not a good. Like, he's dead walking on the court on some possessions. He's giving up.
Appreciate the call, bro. I'm gonna just cut it because everybody on the bus in there on there listening and whatnot. No, I don't think they at odds, man. They not at odds, bro. Yeah. Is he frustrated with overall play? You know, Julius was battling out there. He's battling with Sabonis. He's battling the refs. Him and Turner, they playing tough. He has a way. We've always been saying it. He has a way to let the game, you know, wear on him, wears his heart on his sleeve. When he gets frustrated, it impacts him on the other end. And also, yeah, you're right. Offensively, he's got to get back to being a better playmaker. Tibbs has said that. He's got to make better decisions, better reads out of the double teams, make quicker decisions. I thought Julius played hard tonight. I thought he played a quick pace. I thought he was physical when he had to be. I thought Julius played hard tonight, man. I'm not putting this game on Julius. I just think overall the entire team defense was lousy, and they just couldn't get into much of a flow offensively. I thought Julius played hard tonight.
And I thought the game plan was they may have talked to him, because if you notice, let's put the loss out of our minds and let's just focus on, for example, that first quarter. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed this, CP, but he was like sprinting past half court. As soon as he was getting the ball, he was just running faster. He was moving faster. It looked like they talked to him about, let's get into our offense earlier. Let's put some pressure on the defense. He looked to be more fast and decisive in his decision making. So I thought that was a positive. It just didn't, you know, transfer to the duration of the game. So I thought the intention was good, but you know, and listen, he's expectations are higher, and you know, they're looking at Randall, and
they trying to break him up, man. Like, what's going on, man?
He smiled a few times tonight. I saw him smiling a few times tonight. But listen, when you're not winning and things are not going your way, like you said, he has his way of communicating when he's not happy, whether it's to the refs. And it doesn't look like the best presentation, because he just has a way of, you know, not showing the best body language, but the intention may be different. So because he smiled a few times, I think it's just a little too early to come to certain conclusions yet. I mean, we're
it's early, man. It's early.
You know, I get the frustrations. I get it. But, you know, let's give it a little bit more time and let's see what happens.
That's a fact, man. They're trying to break him up already, man. Come on, man. Trying to break him up.
I mean, this guy,
Cutthroat
bro,
out here, bro.
did a lot for us last year, man. Give him a little bit of time.
Shout out to Cello for the super chats. Jaylen Brown, 46 points, career high. OG Anunoby, 36 points, career high. Miles Turner, 73 points made, career high. Bad pattern. Shout out Mid Belfort says the super chat says Miles Turner killing us with the 3-ball like a 7-foot Reggie Miller. SMH still too early in the season. We got lots of work to do to get that right. Ian C, $10 super chat says there was only one time last season that Randall went more than 2 games in a row below 20 points, and Julius never scored less than 20 points in 4 out of 5 games last season. Also, Knicks were 5-24 from 3 tonight. Oof. Look, 8 games in, you gotta, chemistry has to be had on both sides of the ball. I'm gonna just put it like that. You want to call it an excuse, you can call it an excuse. Everybody gotta make their adjustments, man. This is a new team. This isn't just carryover from last year. This is a new team. That's just my 2 cents on it.
And it's also like, I know everybody wants to point the finger, but let's make this very clear. This loss is not on Julius Randle. Yeah. Let's make that very, very clear. That is not the reason this game was lost. I know everybody's quick to blame the leader. I know everybody's quick, to blame the star. It's not on Julius Randle. He's got some things that he's got to work on, absolutely. But this game did not start and did not begin and die with Julius Randle. That's not why we have an L in the column right now.
Not at all. Not at all. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's hear from Papa Left. Papa Left, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? I'm just doing my lesson plans for tomorrow.
All right.
But
yeah, teach some kids, man. Papa Left, the educator. Let's go. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get some lesson plans for the Knicks, though. They really just didn't follow their assignments on defense tonight on a personnel bit. Like, I just felt there was so many pick and pops where either it was Fournier tracking his defender, it took him from the 3-point line to the 3 in the key spot for him to finally meet the guy on the hip. It was just
Fournier and Kemba were getting
very
cooked
tough
all
to
night.
watch. It was very tough to watch Fournier play defense tonight.
They were getting cooked all
and
night.
they took. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Kemba and Fournier were getting cooked all night. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking about, I thought Ashley made some great points. I think when we're talking about putting in Grimes, I know CK, me and you saw it. It's like he has a special. It's not like, oh, let's just try it out because he's a rookie. He has a special ability of tracking his defender. Like you can get a first step on anybody in the NBA, but Grimes has a special ability to meet you right back at the hip. And I felt like him on LeVert would have been advantage us. I feel like him on Duarte would be advantage us most possessions. And, was our defense as bad as everybody on Twitter was saying? Well, I don't think it was. I think there was a point where they hit a step back 30-foot 3 when we were down by 10. Like, it was painful to watch. But, there were spurts of where Noel was out there blocking shots. Mitch was out there blocking shots. But at the same token, we were putting so much pressure on our centers to anchor the defense and then come right back out to the 3-point line. So that initial integrity on the perimeter defense was awful. But I will say, in the spirit of Aaron Rodgers, I will say relax, because I will say that we need to relax, because especially on these hot takes like IQ may need to sit down. I don't see that. I see IQ as a special player who's kind of going through the same thing that Obi was last year, ironically, where he doesn't have the same free range with the ball, off the ball to play and be a scorer, because we had Peyton giving us nothing, so we needed more scoring from our guards. This year, IQ is being asked to do things that, stretch the defense, maybe 1 or 2 times a half. He gets the ball in an ISO situation, and CP sucked when he did it. Yeah. But there was encouraging signs. Off an inbounds pass, the guy ran literally, I don't know if anybody saw this, he sprinted through 2 bigs and went to the corner, and Rose got a block. He held down Sabonis in the paint while Noel got a block on Sabonis. Like, IQ is a baller. He's got heart. He's got the it factor. So I would say relax on the Knicks being 5-3 being the end of the world. There was a tweet that came out, and I'm getting off after this. There was a tweet that came out last year at this point in the season. We were talking about trading Randall for a first round and how Austin Rivers is the man. So
We weren't
let's
saying
put things in
anything. We
perspective.
weren't. They were.
All right, bro.
No,
Appreciate.
that was go back to KFTV episodes. That was the Ari. This was the Ari special.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
Early in the year.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, man.
Yo, Ari was leading that charge, though. Ari
Yeah,
was
he
the
was.
conductor of that train.
Yeah, he
like
was.
he
We
facts
won't deny
wanted
it
Randall all the way out of
Yeah.
here. We didn't forget, Ari. We did not forget.
I don't think
I'll say
Yeah.
this very quickly, CP, on the Grimes thing, because I know it's going to start to it's brewing here with the fan base. I'll say this: for the most part, I'm on your side about this until I'm conflicted on one thing, and then that's where I kind of go over to Ashley and CK. I think you don't necessarily have to remove a player out of the rotation to give someone else playing time. That's one. Number two, how many times last year did Thibodeau bench RJ for a fourth quarter or to close a game? How many times did we say, oh, how come Quickly didn't play this quarter? How come Elfrid Payton played the whole third or the whole fourth?
Yeah.
Thibodeau played that game last year as well, where he made some decisions where some of us were even saying, why did he go this way? Why did he go that way? And guess what? RJ had to bounce back mentally. When RJ didn't close a few games, we were saying we were RJ. That looking now, it didn't seem like that affected him, right? So in other words, if he decides tonight to say, you know what, this third quarter, I'm going to go with Grimes instead of Quickly. I'll go back to you next game, Emmanuel. I mean, you're in the NBA, you're supposed to, that shouldn't affect you. So I think it's a little early, but I also think soon he should start to look at some flexibility. You don't have to remove a player totally out of the rotation. You don't even have to start with Grimes or McBride. But at certain points of the game, things are not going your way. You want some energy. There's a defensive matchup in the perimeter. A night like tonight where maybe you counter with the Grimes and then you allow Mitch and Noel to press Turner. These type of game plans, you do that a little bit, and then you see what happens. So I think it's a little delicate balance here.
And I just want to clear up by saying with my IQ comment, I meant in tonight. To JD's point, I didn't mean totally take him out of the lineup. If people taking that's not what I meant. I meant to what you're saying. If you know if you weren't getting anything from, then you make that swap for tonight and try something different. That's what I was trying to say. So I completely agree with JD's point right there.
Ari and I are beefing in the chat because
what else is new?
He's doubling down on his Randall take, and I'm not having it. I'm not doing it.
I told you he wasn't going to.
Ari, you're so out of pocket, bro. You're so out of pocket. This man, Julius, can do no right in this man's eyes. Like, at all.
Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. We're going to go to David H in the chat, and then we're going to go into our prize picks. David H in the Discord. David H, what's going on? Oh, hold on. Let me get you in here. David H, live on the Discord. What's going on? David H.
Hello?
Yo, what's going on?
Oh, what's up? It's my first time calling.
No doubt.
Kind of nervous, but
Nah, don't be nervous, bro. Go ahead,
man. Shout out to you guys. Everybody hit that like button because I really like what you guys do. It's like to be a Knicks fan. It's very frustrating, man. Like we've had so many years of just so many bad years, and I'm happy that we're finally able to express ourselves when we're having frustrations. And for the past few games, man, actually since the beginning, because I went to opening night, and don't get me wrong, it was a great game. Like it's probably the best sporting event I ever went to, but I have not seen any change in the way we play from opening night till now. Like it's always the same play, always a pick and roll. And Randall just, hogging the ball. And I feel like I'm grateful for him. He's been our best player since last year. And it's fun to have a player we could root for, have our own superstar and all-star. Because we haven't had that in years. But I think it's time for him to stop. I feel like he's trying to prove that he's the man of the team. Because when RG does good, then like the next play, he'll take the ball and try to do his thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like he has to stop forcing things. Like he has nothing to prove to us, like at all. Like we know he's a great player, but he needs to be a more of a team player. And I noticed this when he loses the ball, he doesn't go back on defense at all. Like
Yeah, the
he
transition defense, the transition defense definitely leaves a lot to be desired. I agree with you there. I definitely
but
agree with
mostly him, because his
Yeah.
body language, he doesn't even go back. He just looks up like in frustration. He's like, "Oh, okay, I lost the ball.
that. Mm-hmm.
I'll do it next time." Like, no, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
you're
Like,
right. You're right. As a leader of the
yeah,
team
and it's
as well, you got to
frustrating.
set that example. It's a good call.
Yeah, and also I feel like Tibbs needs to try. The second unit is great, but like players like Quigley and Burks, they haven't really been playing great, and I feel like he should start giving the rookies some minutes just to create some competition, so they could, you know, um, with more competition, there's more like they try to play better.
Yeah,
So
iron sharpens
there's-
iron, man. You're right. And appreciate the call, man. David H, first time in the call. Make sure you call back. No, listen, I hear what everybody's saying about playing the rookies. I'm just saying I don't see Tibbs doing that this early. That's all I'm saying. I don't see Tibbs pushing the panic button and doing that. When you're down by 2 points in the fourth quarter, your second unit has it rolling. At what point are you throwing in Grimes? I don't know. To me, I see Tibbs saying, okay, we have it cooking right now with this unit. I'm going to let it roll. Why stop that momentum? Why stop that flow? It's up to those guys out there. They have to get it done. They have to close the door. They have to catch up, get the lead, and win the game. I don't see Tibbs just making herky-jerk decisions like that. But that's just me. Things could change. Who knows? That's just my opinion on it. That's just my 2 cents on it. Well, you're right. I would love to see Grimes in there. I would love to see Grimes in there and get a chance.
Am I seeing what I'm seeing in the chat?
What's up?
CP's Manscaped razor?
Yes.
Oh,
Shout out to CP's Manscaped Razor, man.
Yeah,
we have a YouTube account
Yeah.
for the Manscaped Razor, man. So everybody's getting in on the action. I want to salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Yes, as you know, tonight's show and the season is presented by Manscaped, the #1 men's grooming tool below the waist, fellas. Don't be caught out there lacking. Go get that Lawnmower 4.0, man. It's getting cold out there. You guys got ladies at home. You got to take care of it. Trim those hedges with the Lawnmower 4.0. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Very important. And in case everybody's wondering, man, what happened to all the backdrop? What happened to the Starks Dunk poster? It's like echoing the room. All my stuff is going back there. I got robbed. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get robbed. No, I'm tweaking the studio. We upgrading the studio, man. Hopefully by Sunday everything will be back up. But I had to take everything down, paint the wall. Shout out to my pops, came through, did some work back here, and we got the internet up and running. So just doing some work, just doing some maintenance on the studio, and we'll be back up and running. Hopefully by this weekend.
Hey, yo, make sure you knock on wood with that I got robbed joint, because that's not even
knock
funny.
on wood.
People get robbed every day, B.
Yeah, I know.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So take it back.
Yeah, I would.
Say psych.
Yeah, say sorry.
Right,
Say sorry.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Knock on wood, man. Knock on wood on that. CK and JD, man, let's talk about Prize Picks. Because as you guys know, and the people at home know, Prize Picks is the new sponsor of Knicks Post Game Live. Prize Picks, fellas, the new daily fantasy sports platform. Daily fantasy sports made easy, man. They have the best NBA props game out there on the market. More NBA props than any other daily fantasy prop operator. They offer all the players, all the superstar players, even the bench players that don't get as many minutes. If you want to do basketball, you can pick from your points props, your rebounds, your three-pointers made, your free throws made. If you want to do football, you could do anything from yardage to touchdowns, interceptions thrown, you name it. So for our users, once you go to prizepicks.com or you download the PrizePick app, they're going to give you 100% match on your deposit of up to $100. That's a 100% match of your deposit of up to $100, and that's with promo code KFTV. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com or download the app to get yours today. And I'm just going to show you guys real quick the picks I made today, because I became a winner. I came out a winner in this. So today's lineup, what I did was, and JD, you hit it on the head, man. We were going with RJ, right? What was the stat, JD? Last 3 games against the Pacers that RJ Barrett was averaging how much?
25 points per game,
25 points per
78%
game.
from 3,
There you go.
57% field goal.
So the
Tell them those
first
percentages again, JD.
78% from three,
Yeah.
57% overall,
Boom.
25 points per game.
So, yeah. So with that, I went with you, JD. I went with the over on RJ Barrett, 17.5 points. My next pick, I went a little spicy, man. I went on the 3 points made tab, and I was looking at some things. First and foremost, I wanted to go with Turner. I was feeling Turner tonight, but out of respect for my guy Mitch, I said, nah, I'm not going to go there. So I went with Gary Trent Jr. under 2 3-pointers made. Washington is one of the best teams at defending the 3-pointer. I figured that Toronto would be due for a little cold streak, even though they won the game tonight. So I picked the under with Gary Trent Jr. on 2 made 3-point shots. Next thing, Boston Celtics, one of the worst teams at defending a 3. Cole Anthony had been hot lately, so I went with over 1.5 made 3-point shots for Cole Anthony. So that was my selection there. And then Orlando, another team that is not so great at defending the 3-point stripe. Jaylen Brown had been hot, so I went with Jaylen Brown for over 2.5 3 points made. Now, when you look at the selections, I made 4 selections. Now you have an option in terms of your payout. You can go with the flex pay. So if you get 3 correct, you get 1.5 times your money. If you get 4 correct, you can get 5 times your money. Or you can go with the power play. With the power play, if you want to just say, you know what, I feel like I'm going to get all 4 right, that's when you can get up to 10 times on your money. So for tonight, I went with the flex pay. I put in $20 for a chance to win $100. So here is how I fared. I ended up getting all my picks. I hit Jaylen Brown with the over on 3-point attempts. He had 3. I hit on Cole Anthony with the over on 3-point attempts, 1.5. He finished with 2. I pushed on Gary Trent Jr. Just missed. I pushed on Gary Trent Jr., man. He finished tied up with 2 made 3s, but I hit on RJ. So I ended up winning $45 on the play there. So all in all, still a good night. Fantasy made easy, fellas. This took me less than a minute to make my picks. So shout out to our guys at Prize Picks once again for supporting us. Make sure you go to prizepicks.com or sign up for the app. Enter promo code KFTV for 100% match on your deposit up to $100. JD, how'd you guys do tonight, man?
Go ahead, Mr. Winner. You go first, JD.
JD hasn't lost. JD, you said you hadn't lost on Prize Picks.
I took my first out. Go ahead, JD.
Knock on wood, JD. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I haven't lost yet, man. I mean, listen, we gave the play of the day to everyone, CP, so that was an easy money play with RJ over.
Right.
And I'm going to continue to play RJ. I mean, obviously depending on the matchup, but I'm going to continue to play him as long as the line is around 17.5, even 18. I think that's an easy play. I played DeMar DeRozan. His line was at 20.5. He had 37 tonight. I thought, he without Patrick Williams, they've gone a little small. He's on a roll. I think he's an easy play.
Yeah.
I went Colin Sexton over 19.5. He had 21 points. And then Dame 25.5. He had 26 points. I like the matchup.
So you hit on the flex pay.
You did, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So how much did you win tonight?
125.
Whoa, JD Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen, caking tonight. Let's go.
And then I had another ticket at 137 because I had Embiid 26.5. I had him over. He only had 18 points. So thank you, Embiid.
Wow. Yeah. So shout out to Prize Picks, man. Shout out to Prize Picks. And remember, you could mix and match sports. So you could do some picks on basketball, football. Ari asked about, soccer, Premier League and all that. You could do all of that, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You
I'm gonna keep mine quick, bro. It wasn't so great. I mean, I'm still playing. Like JD, I had 2 tickets. First one I called the Knicks ticket, and I'm so upset that I went all in on the Knicks for this one. I did RJ, Kemba, and Julius. And you know what? I was riding the hot hand of Kemba Walker and RJ Barrett, like JD said. If they're going to give me 17.5 for RJ Barrett, I'm taking that every day of the week. I don't care who the matchup is. RJ is on a hot one right now. You heard the numbers, and I'll make JD say him again if I need to. I'm taking that every single time. And Kemba too. He's been secretly hooping right now. So I saw the 15.5. I figured he'd go out there. And, I was hoping he was going to help me out, and that's where I took my first sell because he only had the 4 points. I took the over on that one. That hurt me. And then Julius Randle was just under the 21.5, and he had 18 points. But like JD, I had DeMar and RJ, and I went for the power on that one. So that was a huge L. for me, but I have a second. I have a second tab up that's going right now. So far, so good. I have Colin Sexton with the over. He got 21 when it was 20.5. Bradley Beal, I picked under, and he slightly got under on that one. LaMelo Ball is supposed to get 19.5. He's at 6 points right now. That game is still going. And Damian Lillard, when I should have gone with JD because he did the over, I did the under with Damian Lillard, but luckily I did the flex for this one, so I can take that L. Now it's all to LaMelo Ball. So I'm still playing right now, boys.
So CP, I'm going to cash out. And if they don't get, now I have enough money, I could, get some more burgers.
Let's go. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Put them in the freezer, see how it goes. But, and real quick, clarification, because I have a friend that's going to sign up, and he asked me a question that I guess many could have. It's up to $100. That does not mean that you have to deposit $100 to get the $100.
No.
You can deposit $50, you can go $40, you can
deposit
go
$20. They match you $20. Yeah, you don't have to put in $100. You can deposit whatever you want. They'll match it 100% up to $100. Good clarification, bro. Good clarification. All right, back to the phones we go. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Let's go to Jay from Florida. Jay, what's going on?
Yeah. Hit up for your boys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button every time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yo, I'm looking at the Twitter streets, man. The Twitter streets is turning on your boy Juju. The Twitter streets is turning on Juju by the minute. It's funny to see, man. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen with the rest of the season? I see some bad things.
Man, y'all jumping ship after 8 games. Jay, what? Yo, last week, didn't Jay call in last week? Like, I love the direction the team is going in. I love it. What game was that when you called in all chipper?
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the season. We could be the best team in the East. We don't know, man. But the 4th seed, that's what I'm saying. The mighty 4th seed always came back. Is going to come back to bite because you need more talent. This is a talent league. We spent $80 million on Evan Fournier for Tibbs to bench him the end of the 3rd and most of the 4th. He came on ice cold. You got Kemba coming on ice cold. Tibbs loves playing Nerlens Noel for some reason over Mitch. He put in Mitch ice cold. You got to give guys time to warm up. You put him in at the end of the 3rd, early 4th. You don't put him in because you panicking and 4 minutes left. Come on, Tibbs. Somebody got to say something about Tibbs' rotation. This is 2021. You got to be creative. You got to find different things and different players. I agree with Ash. You got to play Grimes. I even want to play the kid from San Antonio, Samanic. He played for Popovich. He's 6'10". He shot 38% from 3, right? Let's see what he got. We need talent, man. We need big. We need size. We need talent. He could shoot the 3. He could rebound. Why are we not looking at Samanic? Why are we not looking at Grimes? I think Deuce can't play in the NBA yet. I'm not a Deuce guy. I don't think Deuce can even bring the ball up half court without getting ripped in the NBA. That's how I see it. He's a good defender, but can he dribble? You know what I'm saying? Obi needs the hoop. Obi's a good, unselfish guy. There's no beef with Obi and RJ. If you put Obi and RJ out there for a long time, Obi's going to keep moving the ball. He's going to put the ball on the floor. He's a team player. Your man Juju's body language is nasty. It's nasty. Your man Juju want the ball. He was playing a little bit more aggressively, but you see the undertone in his body language. He don't want RJ to sign. He don't want Batman blood to shine, bro. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going, man. Y'all have a good night. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button for the fam. Let's go.
Yo, CP, it's come to this. It's come to this.
My man is going delirious out here, man.
No. Luka.
Oh, my
not
God,
Luka Doncic. Not Luka Doncic. Bro. Not Luka Vildoza.
He's calling for this lottery bust that not even the Spurs had respect for to come in here and play for a team with second round playoff aspirations. Just last week, my man was talking about, how great everything is going. We can't handle adversity, man. What's wrong with you people, man? We 5-3 on the campaign right now. He's talking about going to get the kid in the G League.
Yeah.
Like, as if his defense is any better. Give me a break. If his defense was any good, he wouldn't be in the G League right now.
And for those that don't know, the streets, that's Twitter. Knicks Twitter's the streets.
These guys cannot handle adversity, man. They can't handle it, bro. What is going on? Jay, get with the program. Jay, he's all over the place, man. He's all over the place.
And then proceeded to say that Deuce is not it.
Yeah. So he's all over the place, man. Let me get to my guy Muhammad to set the record straight, man. Let's go to Australia, man. Let me get the Australian in here to set the record straight. Mo, what's going on, bro?
Salute and salam alaikum to everybody.
What's good, bro?
Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Great content, guys, as usual.
Yep.
Look, I'm put a bit of a ray of sunshine here. Okay. This is a competitive Eastern Conference. We're learning we've got some 2 quality additions in Kemba and Fournier. How many games have they had together now? What is it, like 4 plus, 8 to 12 each?
Yeah.
We're expecting them to be hitting all cylinders after 12 games and being together. Look at the Celtics. We're not like that, right? I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying chemistry will take time. Tibbs definitely, in my view, a couple of quick takeaways. Early in the season, we're still learning.
Yeah.
I do have questions around the rotational element. I really don't understand this plug in, plug out. I really don't know why the bench unit is just sticking to 18 to 20 minutes. Yes, they haven't been effective these last 2 games, but I can kind of see, and again, some criticism here. I don't like it when IQ is the primary ball handler.
I don't like it either, man.
I think you got to give him some time.
That I don't like.
He's really good as a catch and shoot shooter. He needs to be given the opportunities to let them fly, but get the quality looks where he's open to shoot. Obi's not getting a lot of run-ins. I mean, that guy is a transition beast, but where was it today? We didn't give him those opportunities. I'm glad Nerlens is back. I think that will be a stabilizing factor, but he's only had 1 game in. There's a lot of positives in this team. And when people say we don't have talent, you've got, a current All-Star, 2 former All-Stars. And look, once you're an All-Star, it doesn't mean you don't have talent. You may not be as effective day in, day out, but it doesn't mean you just lost everything. You've got a coach, 2-time coach of the year. There's some credentials here, but you've got to give it some time for it to work. And the other thing is, I think people were not paying attention to all the moves made in the East. The East is very compressed. Yeah. If Miami lose 2 games and the Knicks win 2 games, we're back in the top 3. It's so tight. So I think
facts. Speak facts, Mo. Let's go.
Tibbs needs to better utilize his rotation. That is it, and scheme better. And the notion of throwing in Grimes and whatever, look, I reckon that could work, but what was this opportunity in this game? And the other part is, I don't know what was happening. Can we blame the ball? Is it the Wilson ball? I don't know.
That's what you're hearing now, right?
Not helpful.
That's what you're hearing now.
I don't know. Like everyone's saying. I mean, Dame's shooting like 30% or something. So
yeah.
Look, I reckon, guys, stay positive. It's an 80. It's a marathon. Someone's saying it's a really good comment. It's a marathon. We want to win the marathon, not the sprint. And let's just chip it out there.
Let's do it.
I'm go Knicks, man. Come on.
Let's go.
Everybody, just jump on.
Talk some sense into these lousy Americans,
Mo. As usual, and thanks again.
Let's go, Mo. You got the Australian in here talking some sense into you, man. Shout out to Mo, man. Mo Bowling speaking facts right now. 8 games in, everybody jumping off the bridge, trade this guy, put in this guy. Y'all can't handle any adversity, man.
Did I miss something? What did I miss?
You got Jay from Florida talking about bring up the kid from the G League. Let's see what he can do. Jay is already talking rebuild. What are we doing? 8 games in. My guy Mo Ball and speaking facts. Let's go. Shout out to ENC sent a super chat. Says there was only one time. Oh, I got that one already. Shout out ENC. Shout out to Rudd. He says the guard defense is suspect. Yes, Rudd, absolutely. Kenny Gale says the number of wide open threes we were giving up is wild. Can we please get back to defense, make adjustments, play harder? Our rotations are straight trash. Paul Robinson says number 1, switch more. Turner wants to shoot like a guard. Let a guard him at the 3. 2, more spacing on the pick and roll. We don't need so many threes, man. Well, what happens when he takes that guard down into the post? You barbecue chicken, man. I don't know if that's the right move. Your Bake's got to get up on him, or you hope he misfires. I don't think he's gonna go 7 to 10 from 3 every night, but tonight was his night. Who we got? All right, back to the phones we go. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Let's go to Fredo. Fredo, what's going on?
Gentlemen, Ashley, as always, thanks for taking my call.
Fredo, what happened? You didn't want to go to Discord route tonight? What's good?
Nah, man, I don't know. Something's up on my phone. Or something's up with the Discord. It wasn't clicking right over there. So I had to call in on a number.
No doubt, we.
I mean, yeah. Listen, man. Like every Knicks fan, it always hurts a little bit more when we lose to the Pacers. But let's bring some optimism back into this community and some reality back into the community. I think going into the season, if I would have told everybody we would have started the season after 8 games, 5-3, we all would have took it, right? It would have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously there's some things that we all feel could be adjusted and changed to make the team better, but this team is exactly what we thought they were going into the season. You know, Julius Randle, he's a clear leader and best player on this team, all right? But we all knew that he isn't going to be the number one option on a championship team. But he's playing great. They're killing him for no reason. I don't really understand it. You know, RJ's taking the next step. You know, he's looking like a potential star in the future, but he's not there yet. You know, there's no way that we could play our rookies over the bench because we're not playing to give rookies minutes. We're playing to win the game. You know, so like who gives us the best opportunity to win? It's definitely not Grimes and McBride. It's IQ and Burks. I mean, it's just common sense. You know, I think like we started off really hot to start the year, and people got really like overly optimistic, and now they see a few losses, like the sky's falling. But it's not that serious, guys. It's going to be a long season, and the Knicks have a lot of games ahead of us. If you look at it, after 8 games, the Knicks are exactly on pace to go 50-30 with 2 games to spare. You know, so like I don't know what everybody's panicking about. We're gonna play the Bucks, and let me tell you something, guys. It's gonna be another tough game against the Bucks.
That's a fact.
You know, it's gonna be
another tough game against Cleveland.
Exactly. Every game is gonna be a tough game, man. There's gonna be no rollover game. So everybody just like enjoy the season, like I always say. Take it for what it is, and just this team is a playoff team. This team is a playoff team. They're just not a championship team. So. We're getting there. We're taking the steps we need. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for taking the call.
Mo balling on the check. No, that was Mo. That was Fredo. They said Fredo sound like Little Yachty.
You love that. You love that call so much. You still on that call?
Yeah. Mo Ball was speaking facts. Mo Ball was speaking facts, man. Now you know I got my eyes on everything right now, so I'm a little off. But chat was I was reading the Little Yachty quotes in the chat, kind of chuckling at that. But shout out to Fredo. Good points as well. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumb. Let's get those likes up, man. The likes a little down tonight. I know y'all tight about the loss, but we got 1,000 people in here. Let's get those likes up. Let's get to 1,000 likes. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that right now. Let's go. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Creep it up on 44,000 subscribers. Let's get it going. Yeah, we got a tough game against the Bucks.
Next 6 games.
Yeah, how you feeling, man? Cavs won tonight again, didn't they? I thought they played tonight. I think they did win tonight.
Yep, they won 107-104 against the Blazers, right to the wire.
Cavs playing tough, man.
You're at Milwaukee, you play the Cavs, then Philadelphia wants to get paid back in Philly.
No question.
And then you play Milwaukee again.
Yeah.
And then you're at Charlotte. So next 6 games. Don't sleep
on that Cavaliers lineup, man.
How you like that Cavaliers team, CK? Go ahead, bro.
Crazy. Nah, it's just at first I was just looking at them. I'm like, I don't know how the hell this is gonna work. They got marketing, they got Mobley, they got Jared Allen, they got Kevin Love, all out. You know, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, like the guys, they're pretty fun to watch. They're just completely embracing this rebuild and they're doing a good thing. So yeah, I think the next 2 games, man, we can't sleep. I know Cavaliers are a lottery team in the past, but we can't sleep on that game coming up at all.
Yeah, true indeed, man. True indeed. JD, go ahead, bro. You was trying to say something.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of parity around the NBA, man.
A lot of parity.
Bulls got all this hype. They go in, they lose tonight, and you know. You may say, JD, but it was the Sixers. Yeah, it was the Sixers with Joel Embiid scoring 18 points and no Tobias Harris and no Ben Simmons. And so, you know, and DeMar DeRozan scored 37. Yeah, and they lose that game. You know, we were just talking about the Cavs, And it's funny because the Cavs are 5-4, and there's a lot of all this positivity, and the Knicks are 5-3, and the world is falling. So
expectations,
I'm just saying, let's put some early perspective. Raptors won tonight against the Wizards, who've had a good start. So there's a lot of parity going on early on, and it's just let's give it a few more games before we start going. Start bailing on some of these players in the team.
Man, I want to see those Raptors again, man. Those Raptors fans were in here talking greasy to us, man. They still chirping. They were still
more
going
than the
back
Hawks.
and forth with me today, man.
I've never seen a fan base that active on the comment section.
Yeah, we got to see the Raptors again, man. I thought the Hawks fans were in here sneaky. The Raptors fans were in here heavy 2 nights ago, man.
They in my comment section right now too. My last video, I'm like, go away. I didn't even talk about that game that much.
The Raptors fan is going crazy over that game.
Crazy.
Talking real spicy to us, man. We got to see them again.
I thought Canadians were nice.
Oh, no. You know they got that little brother complex, man. Anything to beat those lousy Americans at anything, you know what I'm saying? They always trying to brag about it, man. My cousins always be on that, man. They always be on it, so I'm used to it. But yeah, they were spicy, bro. Spicy. All right, let's go to the Discord. Faisal up next. Faisal, what's going on? A couple more calls before we wrap up. Faisal, what's going on? Faisal going once. Faisal on the Discord. Faisal usually connects with us. All right.
I thought it was fell.
Faisal, we gotta send you back to the lounge. Hasib is king. Let's see if you are good on the Discord. Hasib is king. What's going on? Yo. I see his markers going green, Dave. I can't hear him though. Hasib going once. All right, we're gonna send him back to the lounge. Hasib, Dave, see if you troubleshoot his audio and let me know. Val from Jersey, Val, what's going on? Val going once. Val going twice. I can't hear Val either. What's going on? Look like Val dropped. Okay, we'll go to JJ from Brooklyn. JJ, what's going on?
Yo, it's good. I hope you guys can hear me.
Loud.
Anything?
Loud and clear.
Just make a few quick points.
Yep.
Hope you guys are doing well. And the thing, man, I'm gonna keep saying it: perimeter defense. I mean, Kemba Walker and Fournier. It's unbelievably bad how horrible they are defensively. They're getting blown by every single play. You're starting those two guys, and it's just killing you. It's putting you in huge holes. You know, Kemba in his prime wasn't a defender. Now he's lost a step. It's just, I respect him. I'm giving him credit for taking charges. He's taking charges from Sabonis. You know, so I give him credit, but he's just slow, and it's just not going to work with this defense. And then we're coming off the bench with non-defenders. We're coming off the bench with Burks and Quickly and Rose and Obi. Like, I was in the chat during the game, and people were saying, you know, it's an effort thing on defense. No, it's a personnel thing. We don't have Tibbs does not have the personnel to run what he wants to do on defense. We just don't have the personnel to be a good defensive team, and this is going to change. These guys aren't going to get better defensively. Kemba and Fournier and the guys off the bench. Besides RJ, our two best wing defenders are the rookies that aren't going to play, McBride and Grimes. Tibbs doesn't trust them right now, and there was honestly a play where Fournier in the second quarter, there was a pass to him, and he just stood there for like 5 seconds. He just stopped, and the Pacers didn't even know what was going on. They just picked it up, and then they got a fast break. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? It's just the defense, again, it's non-existent. It's not even competitive, just winning defense, and it's just not going to get better. I don't see how it's going to improve, man. You know, it's just frustrating. But we got the Bucks, I think, next. I know we have the Bucks next, so we could be getting a bit of a break. I know Middleton's out. Drew Holiday, I think, is still out.
That don't matter. We can still get worked. Ain't no breaks, man.
Night, right?
We were supposed to get a break with Scotty Barnes being out, right? That's what they said, right? Ain't no breaks in this thing, man. You can still get worked. And these are the champs with the freak, and we got no answer for him. So, it don't matter who they have out there. As long as they have him, it's going to be a very tough game and a tough place to play. So Knicks are going to have to come ready and Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for him. All right, a couple more before we wrap up. Let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, how you feeling? Cynthia going once? Yeah, I don't know. I'm losing on the call. Cynthia, hang on 1 second here. Let me just power this thing back up real quick. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Let me just hit the reset on this thing real quick. Let me leave this out. All right. Continue this. All right, hang on. Hit that thumbs up button. Where's everybody in the chat from, man? 3 cities in the chat. We'll shout you guys out. Just resetting the switchboards real quick. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. All right, Cynthia, back at it. Cynthia, what's going on? Cynthia, you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
She is.
Oh, it's so weird. Hold on. Let me just stop my... Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know, something weird, but shout out to KnicksFanTV, Dave, trying to make it all work. The hardest working man in this show. Let's give it up for him, y'all.
For sure.
But anyway, guys, salute to you and the Knicks Nation. You guys had me laughing the past couple of days, from heels to Tibbs Tony to Do Penguins Fly. I was cracking up. You guys were making my days and nights. So shout out to y'all. I mean, it was just great. But looking at the game, guys, I wanted to ask you, because we all said, okay, with Kemba coming in and Fournier, expect our defense, to drop slightly or drop somewhat. Do you think that the defense in the past 2 games might have been because of these guys? I mean, to me, I see everybody failing on defense. I just think that we weren't playing scrappy, we weren't playing like we wanted it bad. I felt the Raptors and even these guys tonight were scratching and, they really wanted it. And I didn't see us playing like that towards maybe RJ the last 3 minutes. I mean, hey, shout out to him. But I saw only RJ trying in the last 3 minutes, doing all the best that he can. But I think one of the commentators even said it, I think it was Clyde. You can't play, begin to play defense, real tough defense during the last 3 minutes of the game. So I just wanted to know your perspective. Do you think, I know everybody has to, gel and it's only a couple of games. But one more point, I do agree with Ashley, and JD touched upon it too. CP, I think you're the only one that's not on this bandwagon. But I do think that Tibbs, I'm nobody's saying to bench the permanent guys or the starters, but change it up a little, because I think we are becoming so predictable. I feel like they know our whole playbook, and Tibbs that's what I said at the very beginning. Tibbs has to adjust as well. He said in his conference, thing, he said, that's all of us. I'm not going to blame any one player. That's all of us, from the coaches to the team. Well, I hope he takes a good look in the mirror, because he needs to adjust a bit. Let's not wait 10 games, like Ashley said. I'm out, guys. Love y'all.
What do you guys think? Ash, what do you think? She said the defense, is it all Kemba and Fournier's fault? And
I wouldn't say it's
she
all their
talked about
fault, but
changing the rotations up.
I don't think it's all their fault. I think that, we alluded to this, is when your offense went up like ours did, something had to go ahead and suffer, and our defense suffered because of it. I think it's now figuring out the defensive schemes that are conducive for the team that we are now. I think we're still trying to conduct and run our defense the way it was last season, but this is a different team than last season. You have different pieces, so it's not going to work quite the same. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I stand by my statement that I think this is the time to experiment. No one's saying to bench RJ. No one's saying to bench Julius. That's, an asinine statement. But I do think all the pieces in between, you got to figure out what pieces work, what pieces don't, and what point of the game that they work the best. And I think that when you're this early in the season, this is the time to figure that out. This is the time to start implementing different schemes into your team. that are going to throw other defenses off their game, that are going to throw other coaches off their game. You can't allow yourself to consistently get out coached because you're comfortable doing the same thing over and over again. I know that's what has worked. I know that's what got us the 4th seed last season. I know that's what got us into the postseason. But this is a new season. Teams have gotten better. The East has gotten better. This is no longer the East of the past where it's the stepchild of the NBA. There's a lot of talent in the East. There are a lot of teams that have gotten better. And in order to compete, you got to go ahead and be different than you were last season. Every single year you got to progress, and this is any sport that you play. Look at what's happening with Kansas City Chiefs. They got comfortable existing in the way that has been working for them for so many seasons, and eventually the tape is out. Eventually your holes are exposed, and this is what we're starting to see with the Knicks. And this is a time to combat that, because there's going to come a time where you have dug yourself in a hole so deep that you can't get out of, and you're going to wish that you had this beginning of the season back. Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into this mistake. Fix it now. It's really that simple.
JDCK, anything on that?
Okay. You on that wave, CK?
Yo,
you on the wave?
on it. Good.
Oh, I'm with her 100%. Everything she said. I like I said, I'm not saying that we have to completely destroy and blow up the lineup and change the lineup. I'm with Ashley. I'm glad she spoke up because I'm with her. I'm riding with her on that one because I really think that, in situations where we are seeing that our perimeter defense is not great, I don't see why not throw in the kid. We've seen them do it, like I said, in the past. I know CP, you're 100% correct. That is not the Tibbs way. I know he is a man that sticks to his guns. He stuck all 70 or whatever amount of games last year with Elfrid Payton. He's going to stick to his guns. I hear you on that. But look, like Cynthia said, it's starting to feel like they're figuring this out a lot more. I know it's only 8 games in, but like I said, we have the depth. That's the one thing we came into this show talking about all off season long. We have the depth. There's no problem messing around with that depth in moments like this early on in the season, while we're still trying to figure out who we are. We're still trying to find our identity. Our defensive identity, who we were last year, is slipping a bit. Let's try and figure that thing out. So I'm not trying to say Grimes goes out there, has a great game, and now boom, IQ's out of the rotation. Nah, it just so happens that it might have worked in that game. So I stand my ground. Ashley preaching, and I'm with it. I'm right there with you on that.
That's why for me, CP, like, as I mentioned earlier, I'm in the middle. Like, I'm balanced. I'm conflicted because like I said, like, you don't totally take someone out of the rotation, but you make adjustments. And I'm conflicted in the simple fact that, to me, if I had to pick one, I would say right now I have a bigger issue with Tibbs's game plans and adjustments than putting Grimes for like 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know that is going to make enough of a difference in the end result of a 48-minute game. I do know that does help. It leads to maybe a run to a matchup advantage, right. But I just keep going back to the utilization of RJ, not going to him early.
Yeah,
taking him out because it's not about when he picked up the 4th foul. The decision he made. He made the decision. He decided to keep him in the game. Mm-hmm. So right there, you made the decision that you're going to trust a young player to continue to play with 4 fouls, and he did for the next 2 minutes. So if you made the decision, you decided to take the risk. What do you have to lose to have him finish the quarter? Let him finish the quarter and see where you're at. By the time you brought him back in, he was 0-4 for the rest of the game. You actually took him out of his rhythm. So for me, I'm more about how he's actually game planning the games. And then after that, then I go to the, let's see if we could balance out some of the lineups.
And I also want to make it clear that this is not a bash Tibbs. This is not a fire Tibbs campaign. This is, Tibbs has a lot of credit on his resume. He has given this team an identity. He has taken this team from a team that had no idea who they were, what kind of players that they wanted to be, and has given them an identity. They step on that court and they believe that they can win. They've fallen short this season, but we saw last season just how much of a difference a coach like Tibbs can make. I think he has been monumental in giving Julius Randle and taking an identity and taking him to the next level. We're seeing it with Obi. We've seen it time and time again, him and Derrick Rose have a great relationship. We're seeing him rise from the ashes like a phoenix. So this is not a bash Tibbs campaign, but this is a fact that Tibbs has things that he needs to go ahead and get out of a mindset. This is not the 90s anymore. You can't just go ahead and rely on beating guys up in the paint and get away with it. You got to be more elusive. You got to be more crafty. You got to be just more mysterious when it comes to how you're running your offense. You're already at a deficit because your defense, like we keep saying, is not the same defense as it was last season. That's just what it is. Those are the cards that are on the table. How do you react to that? What are you going to do to combat that? This is a different team. It's different in a lot of good ways. There's also some bad ways that it's different, but it's all fixable. The issue is how long is it going to take you to fix it? And that's what we want to see, and we want to see that happen sooner rather than later. It's just simple as that.
I just don't see it. I mean, if you look at the flow of the game, right? They cut it to 2 points in the fourth quarter. They cut the game to 2 points in the fourth quarter. At one point, it was 85-83. Derrick Rose makes a 2-point shot with 9 minutes left. Okay? After that, the Pacers rip off a 7-0 run. You gonna put Grimes in at this point?
No, it's not about putting him in at that point. Here's the thing, and I feel like the Knicks are guilty of this, and I feel like a few other teams are guilty of this too. You see something and it almost works or it barely works, and you're like, okay, it's fine. That's not good enough. We look at that in terms of blowing leads, and this is what I tweeted this the other day during, I believe it was the Raptors game, and we ended up losing that game. Just because something consistently works or has worked, sometimes just because you're able to kind of combat the deficit you have put yourself in does not mean that that is a habit that you should continue. That does not mean that that is a conducive way to continue a season. That does not mean it's a conducive way to continue a postseason. Just because it works doesn't mean that it's right.
It's 8 games in. We're going to question the coach of the year. The guy just won coach of the year, people. I see a guy in the chat saying, he's only good to be an assistant. The guy just won coach of the year with David Fizdale's team.
I'm not saying that he has to correct it tomorrow. I'm simply saying just because something works doesn't mean that it's right. And that is a very complex ideology. Just because something is working consistently, that there's a lot of factors that go into that. It doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's right for this team at this moment in time. It just means that we've gotten lucky.
Several runs to cut this game. I just don't see where is the window where Grimes is making a difference here. Like I said, they cut it to 2 in the fourth. They rip off a 7-0 run. They cut it to 2. At what point when they cut it to 2, you're going to put in Quentin Grimes?
We're not.
You're gonna go with the guys that made the run.
I'm not talking about just this specific game, though. This is not a game specific concept. It's not a game specific conversation. We're looking at the season as a whole thus far. There are a lot of instances where, yes, it has worked. Yes, we've walked away with wins, but stop looking at it. And this is Tibbs too. Stop looking at something and just because you barely won by the skin of your teeth or because it worked doesn't mean that it's right and doesn't mean that it's how you should continue for the rest of the season. There are adjustments and improvements that can always be made.
It's not to say it's going to be the rest of the season. A lot can happen. It's only the 8th game. A lot can happen. Bad play could be consistent where he makes the change. You could have injuries where he makes a change. I'm saying Grimes is going to get his opportunity. I'll just end on this. I don't see Tibbs just making a knee-jerk reaction like that. You paid Fournier all this money. You paid Rose. You paid Burks. They need to get it done, period. You got Kemba in here. They got to get it done. These are your guys. These are your vets. This is Tibbs' MO. They got to get it done.
My question is for you then is how long do you allow the way that the team is being constructed in terms of rotations? How long do you let that continue until you figure out that it's not working? Do you let it go 20 games?
It depends.
Do you let it go for
It depends on the record.
I just want to know what the number is.
It depends on the record and how bad things fall off a cliff. Right now, they're 2 games over 500. They're all right. They're okay.
But that's my point, though. You just said it depends on how bad things fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
But it's being reactionary instead of being proactive, and that's the thing that I don't agree with. I don't agree in reacting to things when they get bad. How do you progressively avoid it getting there? What's the number?
But it's no guarantees. It's no guarantees. Obviously, he's watching these kids in practice. He's watching Grimes. He's watching McBride. Quickly jumped on the scene last year because he earned it in the preseason. They needed a shooter. He had the shooting popping. He quickly got in there as a rookie and got his minutes. They were spot minutes, right? But he got in there because he earned that. So we got to see. Right now we got a lot of reinforcements. I don't think Tibbs is looking for Grimes right now. I could be wrong. Maybe you see Grimes on Friday. I have no idea. But all I'm saying is I don't see how he just gets in there with a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, and it makes a difference. But let's see what happens. Let's take one more call and then wrap up. So to everybody in the chat once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad here. Let's go to Khalil from Brooklyn. Khalil, what's going on?
Hey y'all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. Go ahead.
Awesome. First of all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ring that bell for the #1 show for the fans, by the fans.
Let's go.
I'm so glad to be here. I've been struggling on Discord, y'all. But CP, CK, Ash, JD, so glad y'all here with y'all. I just want to inject some optimism for this team, right? Because I feel like we're forgetting what this team is, right? This is a team of hardworking, competitive people, with Tibbs and a coach who's not going to let this defense carry on, for the rest of the season. And so we need to give it time. We need to give it time for things to gel.
Gotta give it time for things to gel, man.
Nerlens just came back. He had some productivity in the beginning, but give it time. We just got our 10-man rotation back. So, but I gotta say, I lean towards CK and Ash. What we saw, just think back to that last preseason game against the Wizards, where we had Derrick Rose, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, Grimes, and Obi and Randall. We had the small ball line, and they were effective. And I don't see why, remember, we have a competitive – we don't play an easy team again till after we finish against the Pacers on November 15th. We're not going to have, these layup games. We have to make changes. And if we don't experiment with the lineup now, then at the very least, we can't – we have to bring in Evan earlier. We have to give RJ the keys. I think he's ready for it. I think Tibbs is growing in confidence in RJ, even though this is a struggling night for him, but he still put up 23 points. And, Jay from Florida is talking about trading Randall. My man still had a double-double.
Oh, boy.
Off night for Randall,
Jay's
but he
wrong.
still had a double-double. We know what he could do. I think he should become more of a decoy. I think you run the offense through RJ. Give Fournier that burn. We saw that in the Celtics game, double overtime, But I think there is room, especially when you see IQ, Burks being a little more streaky, to put Grimes in. Especially because, if we're not going to give it on the defensive end, right, then double down the offense. And, one thing I also want to say is with Evan Fournier, people are bummed on Evan Fournier. They, think we spend too much money on him. I think Tibbs isn't letting Fournier be Fournier. We saw what he did in the Olympics. Actually, you talk about that all the time. He's a dog. He's aggressive. He's a confident player. But he's tepid, He's passing the ball when he has some good looks, He's not going as hard. So I think Fournier needs to be brought in earlier. I think he needs to remember, let him play his game, shoot those balls. He's a bucket, and I think you have to increase the usage rate with R.J. Barrett. This is a breakout year for him. Across these 4 games, he's averaged 20 plus points, and I think he's ready for that role. And y'all, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Y'all talking like it's 3-5. We 5-3. I think this is gonna put fire in the belly of this team to ball out against the Bucks. Drew Holiday is. We don't know if he's gonna be back, but last time we faced off against them with him, we beat them. In one of the games we played last year. So thank y'all so much for this show. I'm a baby Knicks fan. I've only been following since the playoffs, but I've been a quick study, and this show has been a big part of that. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. Watch when we beat the Bucks on Friday, man. Everybody calling in, JD.
It's gonna be a different
I need
story.
burgers, JD. I need burgers. We're winning the championship. Watch when we beat the Bucks on Friday, man. Debbie Downers all over the place, man. Oh,
Even
man.
if we beat the Bucks on Friday, my philosophy.
Keep the grill ready, JD.
Listen, even if we beat the Bucks on Friday, my philosophy stays the same. Tibbs, if you need an assistant coach, call your girl. All right, I got some ideas.
Debbie Downers, man.
Put me behind the bench. I'll whisper in Tibbs' ear all sorts of things. That came out crazy. Hold
crazy.
On. That came out crazy. That's not how I meant it. That's not how I meant it.
What she said? I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to replay it because I didn't even catch
Max,
it.
I said I'll
shout out to
whisper
Replay
all
Game.
sorts of things in Tibbs' ear, but that's not
Why
how
would
I
you
meant
say it again?
Yeah.
Because you didn't hear me.
And the show Ash on a roll right now. And the show Ash is on a roll. Let's go.
Where's the whistle?
Yeah, that's a fact, man.
My fault.
But nah, great show, everybody. Once again, man. Hey, the frustration is warranted, man. That's what makes us fans. This is what the show's all about. It is what it is. You're not gonna win every game, so you're gonna have nights like this, frustrating losses. But we'll see how we bounce back. You know what I mean? A great show as usual. Great show, Ash, CK. JD, great show. Let me salute the super chats that have come in. Shout out to the Rhyme Animal. Chuck D sent the super chat. Says, we must remember Raptors fans are carnivorous. They hadn't seen their team in a whole year. Road games, 2 years, pissed at disrespect of the 2019 chip. It's a true story, Chuck. Shout out Dizzy Messiah says it's 8 games. Is the opposing team center going to hit us with 9+3s every game? Is Kemba going to drop 4 points 28 minutes? Want to talk about burgers? This is a nothing burger. So Dizzy Messiah dropping some knowledge in here. Let's go. Del Will says, why did Ash stop repping the orange and blue? At least get her a KnicksFanTV snapback or a beanie or something. I mean, shit.
I don't. First of all, I have actual hair. Like I can't cover mine with a hat like the guys can. It's not fair.
We'll get you a do rag or something, Ash. It's all good.
Not
all
a
right.
do-rag.
Shout out Del Will.
Yes. Yep.
Shout out Del Will. Kenny Gale says Kemba got dudes hopping past him out there like they're not trying to pay some boy fair. Giving Grimes 5 minutes won't hurt. Heck, Breezo says when Randall gonna shoot over 50% again. Abdul, shout out my guy Abdul on the West Coast, says tough game to watch tonight. Lots of emotions. We had no answer for the pick and pop with Turner tonight. Let's keep our head up. JD, keep the burgers on the grill. We will get it together. Brandon Babb says Mitch Robb has got to go. Oh God, people going crazy tonight. People going crazy tonight, man. If I would have read that before, I wouldn't even have read the super chat, man. I'm just rolling. King Matthew says also congrats on D Rose hitting 12,000 points tonight. He also says another tough game, but we move on and get ready for the next one. Turner was looking like 7-foot Steph Curry out there. LOL, we got to be better on defense. Chuck D, Rhyme Animal, everybody throw a hashtag P in the chat. Says every team is on reset after 2 short seasons. That's why 46 wins is a real number. Gonna be turbulent. System, culture, and D will be our key in a long 82-game season. Our commitment to conditioning and luck against injury will find Tibbs' way. All right, man. That is that for Super Chats. Thanks for Super Chat, Chuck. JD, Ashley, CK, any last words?
Make sure you get your picks in tomorrow for prize picks. I might announce who I'm playing. So
yeah, JD, you caking over there, man. Undefeated in prize picks right now.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you could go the safe route and go. You don't have to play the power play. Everybody wants the big money.
Yeah.
So that can help, but we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right. Well, that is the show. Once again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And we'll see you guys Friday night after the Knicks beat the Bucks. I'm putting it out there right now. Let's go. We're gonna turn this thing around in Milwaukee. Let's get it cracking, man. We'll see you Friday night.